3 ways of saying ed. Many students use the incorrect ed ending sound in the past tense of regular verbs. This video explains how these sounds work. It prepares you to choose the right one independently. To do this, you will hear a story with these sounds. If you read along, pause the video at the end of each page and read what you have just heard. Finally, you can practice your new skills in a writing and speaking exercise. Say t for ed after the sounds p, k, s, f, f, ch, and sh. Touch your throat and say ask. There is no vibration on s and k. Asked, impressed, flopped, fluffed, birthed, splashed, touched. Say id for ed when the last letter of t or d. Landed, excited, short-sighted, tempted. Say d for ed for all other endings. Touch your throat and say save. Feel a vibration on v. Relieved, climbed, happened, tumbled, answered, buzzed, replied. The Story of the Little Mole Who Knew It Was None of His Business by Werner Holzwarth and Wolf Erbrook. One day the little mole poked his head out from underground to see whether the sun had already risen. Then it happened. It looked a little like a sausage, and the worst thing was that it landed right on his head. "How mean!" cried the little mole. "Who has done this on my head?" But he was so short-sighted that he couldn't see anyone around. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the dove, who was flying past. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," she answered, and splish-plish, a moist white blob landed on the ground right next to the little mole. His right leg was splashed with white. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the horse, who was grazing in the pasture. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this." And flump plump, 5 big fat horsey apples plopped down within a hair's breadth of the mole. He was very impressed. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the hare. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," answered the hare, and rat-a-tat-tat, 15 little round beans shot past the mole's ears. He saved himself with a daring leap. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the goat, who had been dreaming a little. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," she replied, and plippity-plop, a pile of toffee-coloured little balls tumbled on the grass. The little mole found them almost appealing. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the cow, who was chewing the cud. Me? No. How could I? I do it like this. And kerplush, a big brownish green pancake flopped into the grass just next to the mole. He was very relieved that it hadn't been the cow who had done something on his head. Did you do this on my head? He asked the pig. Me? No. How could I? I do it like this, replied the pig, and plop, splat, a little soft brown pile fell on the grass. The mole held his nose. Did you do this on my... He was going to ask again, but as he came closer, he saw only two big fat black flies, and they were eating. At last, someone who will be able to help me, thought the mole. Who did this on my head? He asked excitedly. Keep nice and still, buzzed the flies. There was a short pause, and then, it is clear to us that it was a dog. Finally, the little mole knew who had done the business on his head. Basil, the butcher's dog. Quick as a flash, he climbed onto Basil's kennel and pling! A tiny black sausage landed right on top of the dog's head. Satisfied at last, the little mole disappeared happily into his hole underground. Now, change these verbs to the past tense. Put them in one of the boxes below. You may pause the video while you work on a piece of paper. When you have finished, restart the video to see the answers. How have you done? Check your answers here. If you would like a speaking practice, say these words into your phone, then listen back. You may also write some sentences using these words and say them aloud. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Please take some time to subscribe, like, comment, share, or wait for notifications for new videos. Thanks for watching.